Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Friday, the 22nd of July, 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. A real international flavour today. Let's jump into it. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down ever so slightly today to finish the week at 6,792 points. For the full week, it was up nearly 3%. The real estate and financial sub-indices did well today, while telco, energy and utilities companies broadly went backwards. It was a fairly muted day among the large caps. ANZ was the standout, up 3% after some big drops earlier in the week. Westpac rose 1.1%. Telstra fell more than 1%. PointsBet was the best on the day, up more than 16%, while Zipco continued its strong run of recent times, rising 13.5%. Paladin Energy was the worst of the top 200, down 6.5%, while travel operator Webjet was off more than 6%. Domino's was sold off, down 4.5% after its American sister company raised its forecast for food inflation. And Accent Group, which owns Hype and Platypus, said deliveries of new products this month have been strong, but sales in May and June were lower than expected. Its share price fell more than 11%. Story number 2. More than 2 in 5 Australians have experienced a mental disorder at some point in their life, and there's been a sharp increase in diagnoses among people under 24. That means 8.6 million Australians have experienced a mental disorder sometime in their life. Even more disturbing, almost 1 in 2 females aged between 16 and 24 years have experienced a mental health condition in the last 12 months. The findings from the Australian Bureau of Statistics' first national study of mental health and wellbeing since 2007 show mental disorders remain widespread. However, they have not become more common over the past decade, as increasing rates of illness among people under 24 were offset by a fall in older age groups. Story number 3. IAG, whose brands include NRMA and CGU, has warned that its insurance margins are under pressure due to claims relating to health insurance. The insurer said the financial hit will be offset by higher premiums pushed through recently and in coming months, and it's on track to report a $347 million net profit. IAG has budgeted for even more bad weather, including East Coast flooding, in coming years. The company's bottom line for the 2022 financial year will be aided by a write-back of almost $200 million set aside previously for business interruption insurance claims related to COVID-19. The higher health claims largely related to silicosis, a lung disease sometimes linked to workers in dusty jobs, think construction. IAG said it's altered policies to some exposed trades and industries to limit its exposure. Story number 4, the final public hearings of the US summer into the events of January 6 last year, when rioters stormed the Capitol, have been damning of the former President Donald Trump. Mr. Trump sat watching the attack on the US Capitol unfold on TV, choosing to do nothing for hours to stop it, even as the lives of law enforcement officers, members of Congress, and his own vice president were under threat, witnesses told the hearing. According to the New York Times, the US House panel heard sworn testimony from former aides and advisors about a president who could not be moved to act until after it was clear that the riot had failed to disrupt Congress's session to confirm his election defeat. They detailed how the entire apparatus of government, the top White House lawyer and other senior West Wing advisors, low-level aides, Pentagon officials, even his own daughter, mobilised to respond to the attack, but Mr. Trump willfully declined to do so. Unbelievable. And story number 5, Russia and Ukraine will sign a deal tonight to reopen Ukraine's Black Sea ports to grain exports, according to Turkish officials. It's a very hopeful sign that an international food crisis caused by Russia's invasion could be eased. Reuters is reporting that while Ukraine and Russia haven't confirmed the announcement, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hinted that his country's Black Sea ports could soon be unblocked. The blockade by Russia's Black Sea fleet has reduced supplies to markets around the world and sent grain prices soaring. Nice to hear just a little bit of good news from that part of the world. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 22nd of July, 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 weekend edition by Fear and Greed. Some of the best business stories of the week. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.